Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of A Cup of Coffee with TESOL Experts. Today, I have Cecilia the Nava with me. She is in Uruguay. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, hi
How are
everyone.
How are you doing
Well,
tonight?
great, great. I'm here in Uruguay talking with you. It's a pleasure for me.
It is Friday evening, by the way. Like we couldn't meet at a different time because our guest is in Australia. So it was a little bit difficult to schedule the chat. But I'm so happy to have you here, Cecilia. Cecilia, she's a wonderful teacher. She's been teaching and developing training courses for teachers, English teachers, since 2012. She has more than 20 years of experience teaching languages to low income and at risk students. She also teaches Spanish, and she has been working at the Department of Second and Foreign Languages of the National Administration of Public Education of Uruguay for almost a decade. Her passion for teaching and promoting reflective scenarios for professional development has led her to travel throughout the country, meeting teachers and fostering critical analysis of practices and a collaborative environment for the development of prospective teachers. She is also the co-author of the Teacher's Handbook for Uruguayan Public Schools that was published last year. This is the first textbook of its kind for the national education system. So you're a rock star, Cecilia.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much.
And so the question for today is how can we create a community of practice among teachers? How can teachers create a community of practice on an online environment? And so this is a huge question and it's not easy to answer because we were happy teaching face to face before, and then the quarantine happened, the pandemic happened, everybody is home, we don't know how to connect with each other. And you can create a Facebook group, you can create something, you can have a Zoom meeting, but it doesn't mean that people are going to want to be there or create really a community. In a minute, we're going to talk about our definition or what we understand by community of practice. But Cecilia, I want you to help me introduce our guest expert today. Who is
Of
this?
course, of course. Nguyen is currently studying a PhD program at the University of Newcastle in Australia, where he has been awarded a full scholarship entitled the Vice Chancellor's Higher Degree by Research Training Program since 2020. His interests in research includes ICT in ELT, blended learning, language testing and assessment, cross-culture, and communication.
Well, let's welcome Tian. Hi, Tian.
Hi, Tian.
Oh, you have to unmute your
Hi,
mic.
thank
Okay, there
you.
you go.
Thank you. Thank you for your inviting me to the talk today. I'm happy to share with you and to listen to you about the topic.
So, Tian, I love your background. That looks really cool. That's where I want to be right now.
Yes, me
Thank
too,
you.
Diego.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into the question. But first, I want to discuss what we understand by a community of practice. And so, me being an instructional designer, we say that a community really is not something you can create, but you can only facilitate. Why? Because that community needs to emerge from the needs of the participants. Like they need to want to be there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's easier said than done. You can have whatever you want, but maybe teachers won't come or they will not feel connected. And so there are some conditions, people have talked about or have defined communities of practice in different ways. So they have to be self-sustainable, they need to be able to grow. And also in the literature, people have used different terms to refer to similar concepts. And so you've heard of communities of practice, but maybe professional learning communities and so many other terms. But I guess the idea is somewhat similar. And so I would like to hear from both of you what you've done, because here we have two teacher trainers. They work with teachers. And so I would love to hear kind of like what strategies can you recommend to really help teachers connect and create a community and help each other in online environments when everybody is in a different place. And so I'm going to start with Cecilia in Uruguay. What have you done? What kind of advice, recommendation can you give teachers that are watching this video?
First of all, as you mentioned before, 2020 has been a year of different things, but with lot of challenges. So the first question that we had to answer as an English department of the National Council of Primary Education was, how are we going to fulfill teachers' needs? So we think that first of all we have to foster a sense of accomplishment among teachers and a can-do attitude. Teachers' disposition towards the tools and the medium for online communication is essential for their continuous involvement. So what we did was to develop different actions in order to deal with that. First of all, we think that the first step to fulfill teachers' need was to have to create a low risk environment to promote reflections, because we had a lot of questions. How are we going to switch from face-to-face instruction to distant to online instruction? So how are we going to create that? So we had the chance to have a forum, an area for communication, and in that sense we tried to share ideas, and all the teachers participated in that specific forum discussion in order to all together tried to solve the problem that each teacher was facing in that time, right? So we believe that all together we can help each other, and from just by looking different perspective and just by sharing different experiences, we can help and build that community, which is essential nowadays in this that we are dealing with this pandemic and this situation. So we try to create that low risk environment in order to promote reflection. Every opinion is valued, so we try to foster a sense of accomplishment. And in that sense, teachers created different resources that they uploaded, for instance, in a collaborative board, for instance, in Padlet that we created there. So they shared the things that were really working in their classes. They shared there in that Padlet. Also, we implemented was an area for communication for other things, not for resource. No, just because although we uploaded different things, just tutorials. We model how to teach with those online resources. They need other things. So we created a special area in which they had the chance to express beliefs, ideas, whatever, and we try to again to reflect on the things that we were facing in that specific moment. So again, key words: interaction, reflection, collaboration, coordination from all of us in order to create a network in which they can help each other. So I think I think that those things were essential in order to fulfill teachers' need of that specific moment.
I love that, Cecilia. And, it sounds like you're doing kind of like formal and informal community sort of thing because you
Both.
have like this more like, let's talk about teaching, but also let's talk about other things. And something that you mentioned that I think is very important is that sense of, like you said, like promoting this low risk environment because you need to feel safe. And quite honestly, like if I am in a meeting with my school principal, with my dean, with my coordinator, I'm not going to say, you know what, my class is horrible. Like everything went wrong. Like it is very unlikely that you are confident to say that, but that is what we need. We need to promote that. We need to make sure that teachers feel safe and that they don't feel that they're going to lose their jobs if they say really what they're struggling with. And so I love that idea, Cecilia. And so you mentioned something that I think is a great segue to talk to Tien, and it has to do with the role of the facilitator, you said, because somebody has to maintain this community, like somebody has to do, make sure that teachers are connected, that everything is running smoothly. And so Tien, he will share some tips and suggestions with us because he's created a group, a Facebook page, or is it a Facebook group, Tien, for teachers in Vietnam. Can you please tell us more about it?
Yes, thank you, Diego and Celia. Before I start to share my experience about creating a community of inquiry and practice in my own context, I would say that much agreement has been to Celia in terms of safe or low risk uh, talking or sharing environment, not only in the community of the online, but also in the face-to-face. And I also would like to say that the term community can be very large, like a country community, an international community, or just a village community. So when we know the audience, we will know what to do by raising the or creating the objectives. And the low risk environment can help people have the sense of belonging. The sense of belonging make them happy, and when they are happy, they are willing to share, even in a candid way. I mean, they are brave to talk about, oh, I'm very ignorant about this or that or something like that, and they do not feel defaced. Especially in my Oriental culture, people sometimes feel defaced when they're talking, when they confess that they do not understand something. I know it is not the same in your, but maybe it happened in some other context. So, in terms of my context, let's refer back to my talk about the Facebook community. I would prefer the group rather than the page, because you know that when we use a page, it's like advertising, and someone comments something, and everyone, the world will know that. But in group, we can control that in private group, public group, or just the one who belong to our community can see what we are commenting. So it is safer to them, and it is easy
So
for
just to say that, sorry, you are recommending that people, if they want to do this, they should create a Facebook group, not a Facebook
group
page. Is that correct?
rather than page. Page is more advertising, like a selling, and yeah, and maybe in page in group we can control the quality, the engagement. We know what time mostly people engage in, and we can see who
Hmm.
have seen that. Let me share with you in the real way so that you find it easier.
Yeah, yeah. Please
Yeah.
show us your Facebook group, and I know you have some like
Oh,
recommendations and
thank
things
you.
people have to do.
Yeah, this is the group management. As you can see here, in group, I create a group entitled Teaching with ICT Support in Vietnam, updated from Australia because I am living in Australia now. So I create this topic. As you can see, um, in this topic, in this group, I only have more than for 250, because you know that with less than 250 members, we can see who has seen the post. For example, when I post this link, I will know 100 member has seen this one. But when I use a page, I can't. And if I use more than 250, I do not know who have seen it. So it's not easy for me to control the quality. And I need to create topic like this so that people need to find about reflection. They can click on reflection and they can see the topic in relation to that. Yeah. For example,
Right.
here is a reflection. Yeah. And that by clicking on the topic, popular topic, they will see it easy there. It is not easy to do with page. And I think that a lot of things that I can say, maybe like here, we can see the engagement in the first 28 days and what is the most popular days that people are engaged in. The most active member, we have 201 members, active members, but sometimes it depends on the time. For example, by clicking on engagement, like here, I can see which time of the day that is more popular. Tuesday and Saturday is the most popular. And what time is it? 8 p.m., 3 p.m., and 12, lunchtime. People are engaged in the group. And by this way, I know who are they. And I reflect with them, here is the reflection and who is the most popular one. And I will highlight and report it to them, and they will know how they get involved in. And this
Yeah, I was gonna say that this is great. I love this just because, yeah, sometimes, like, there are lots of metrics and things that you can use to really help inform your decisions. And so you know how to engage better with your audience. And I think you have multiple groups. Like this one had like about 200 teachers, but you have another one that has more than 1,000. So this is a great idea for teachers that may want to do this, or teacher trainers that may want to do this. And my invitation is to make it more public. I mean, because part of the problem is that sometimes we work in silos, meaning that each university, each school is doing their own thing, but we don't necessarily communicate with one another. And I think that that's a mistake. We need to be able to make it a little bit more general, right? Cecilia, go ahead.
Yes. What I like about that is that you have the instant feedback about your students. You know that if you implemented that kind of activity and it was very useful, more or less, you keep track of the participants. So I think it's great. And even if you have a low participation, you know why, and maybe you can change your lesson reflections for future decisions. So I think it's great because you have the immediate feedback from participants.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of like start closing this video because we want to keep this video short. So I'm going to give you like another opportunity to maybe have or share a closing thought or a remark. But I wanted to share a little bit about my research because I am interested. I happen to be interested in communities of practice. And so I've read some of the literature. And so some of the people that study these topics, such as Wenger, Trainer, and Delat, like in 2011, they talked about this difference between communities and networks because they are similar. They sometimes, happen at the same time, but they are different. And, what they say literally is, they're complementary yet separate aspects of the social fabric of learning. And so this is helpful, I think, to think about what can you do to really promote the community and what can you do to promote the network. And so, for example, what Tuyen was showing us with Facebook and all of that, that really is helping both. It's helping network because people can communicate easily. Maybe you can identify who is engaging more, who is less. You can welcome new members. You can do all of these things and facilitate the flow of information. And it's also helping the community because you are developing this shared identity. We are here for a reason. We know why we belong to this group. We have a sense of belonging and we have a sense of trust and commitment. And I think those two things are important, the community and the network. So Cecilia and Tian, do you have any thoughts you want to share just to kind of conclude this video?
just to wrap it up, I would like to say that I think that the role of us is essential for promoting this type of community, creating low-risk environment, as I mentioned before, promoting effective resource use, and fostering a reflecting stance are essential for teachers to feel valued and to profit from participating in this type of community. So I think that going in that path, I think it's going to be they're going to feel that sense of supporting and that feeling of belonging, and I think that is crucial in this learning community.
Yeah, thank you.
Tuyen.
I agree. Thank you, Diego and Celia. I do agree with your discussion in terms of the sense of community and the sense of belonging. And I would like to add some more ideas in relation to benefit. Only when they find that they get some benefit from the community, they can join it. And sometimes people only give affective feedback, emotional feedback, like a great, excellent, or something. But sometimes we also need to add the cognitive feedback so that they can develop their profession in terms of knowledge, content knowledge, technical knowledge, and pedagogical knowledge. And that's why in our developing an online teaching program with TESOL.org, they mentioned the technology. I mean, technology and technology. Technology is not everything until we add pedagogies in. And of course, the purpose is content. So content is important, and I take it for granted that people have good management of their content, but to apply with technologies is an additional, but one of the three, like TPAC we have mentioned. And before we close, I would like to say that the sharing, maybe we can share the lesson plan, we can say the worksheet, but in the community of a country, it is easier, you know that, because we have the same textbook.
So I guess what you said, kind of like two ideas, is know your audience and make sure that they have something that they can take away and that they feel like they are benefiting. Otherwise, they will not want to engage. Yeah. And on that note, I guess we're going to leave you today. I thank you so much, Tuyen and Cecilia. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And I hope that people that are watching this found this helpful. We are always welcoming any feedback, suggestions if you have. And also if you have a question that we want us to answer, then feel free to suggest that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.